Do we know what we're doing?
No.
Morning, Mark.
Good morning, Steve.
How are you this fine morning?
Oh, I'm wonderful.
Yes.
Thanks. How are you?
I'm good. It's Monday.
Yeah.
I like Mondays.
Dressed in plaid today. It's that kind of a day, I guess.
You know what it is?
What is it?
It's going to be the 6th Sunday after Easter.
Holy cow!
Yeah, it's going fast, isn't
Dang,
it?
it sure is.
Yeah, we're off to Ascension after that.
Tomorrow, just about. Well, so this Sunday we're talking about what? Jesus is saying, keep my commands. As the Father has loved me, so I've loved you.
He's saying that.
There's
right.
a couple things that he says, really.
Yes, he says, keep my commands. And you're thinking, okay, well, here's this guy being bossy, right? That's what messiahs do. They show up and they just boss people around. And so I always I hear that and I think, what do people hear? And then you have to listen to hear what the command is. What's the command? Love. Love.
Yeah, right.
Love.
Be nice to each other.
So what are we singing?
Well, the hymn that we're going to sing is, it comes from the Catholic publishing house. It's a song by Thomas Porter, and it's called Let Us Be Bread. And I'll read it to you here, and I'll also post a link so you can listen to it. Let us be bread, blessed by the Lord, broken and shared, life for the world. Let us be wine, love freely poured. Let us be one in the Lord. And then also there's verses that go on, and they are quotes from the gospel reading of Jesus saying, if you're my friends, keep my commands.
John 15.
Yeah, exactly. I'm the bread of life broken for all. God loved me, so I've loved you, etc., etc. But the way that this song is structured, I think, is really unique because it's not about the congregation or the assembly just singing all of the words and them singing the words of Christ. Instead, what it is a cantor who will be leading the verses, and they will be singing Jesus. So in other words, I get to be Jesus this Sunday.
Every Sunday.
Yeah.
That's actually really cool. I came across something recently on that, and it's this is a problem with some Catholic hymnody especially, which we'll sing too. I am the bread of life. I will raise you on eagle's wings. Right? That's a funeral favorite.
Right.
But what you get is the congregation singing these words of Christ. And there's nothing wrong with that, except sometimes the effect isn't, this is what the guy was saying, the effect maybe isn't what it ought to be, whereas what's really going on is when you have a cantor singing, declaring these words of God, and then the congregation responding, which is what you have here, let us be bread,
right? Yeah,
blessed by the Lord. And then the Lord speaks back again,
exactly.
Right?
The assembly is speaking words that are relevant to them.
Yeah, they're speaking their words.
Exactly. Instead of getting losing their focus and then impersonating Christ, maybe a little bit. And I think that that actually goes back quite a ways. The first thing I thought about when we were prepping for this was the passions, these great musical treasures that we have. For instance, Bach's Passions from the 18th century, where you have the various roles that are played by different groups during this performance. You have the narrator, or the evangelist as it's called. Then you also have the words sung by Christ, and by Pilate, and by all the other characters and so forth. But then you also have the words that are sung more introspectively by the assembly, by the congregations.
That's awesome. And so it's not that we're not called to be Jesus to one another. We are. But there's specific ways and times that we do that, because the fact is we're not Jesus,
right?
Except by His grace. So He gives the church His grace, and you get to be Jesus this Sunday, and that's awesome. There's times when we also just have to kind of be helped by Jesus, right? There's times when I'm reminded of that painting that we keep around the church. We were looking at it, this confirmation class. It's the Return of the Prodigal Son.
Oh, Rembrandt.
Yeah. And you have the father. You have his son who's he's embracing. You have the other brother. There's some other onlookers.
Yeah.
Henry Nouwen, I think, talks about how you can be any of those people, right, and be part of the story. And sometimes you should be different people within that story.
It's amazing how overly analytical we can get on something that looks so simple.
It is a nice simple one, though, but it's deep.
It is very deep, and the message is very important to permeate our worship, I think. Here.
So one more thing on here. Let us be bread, blessed by the Lord. Let us be wine, love freely poured. Bread and wine are obviously deeply significant items in the Christian understanding of the world. Let us be bread. bread is the simple stuff that keeps you alive, right?
Right.
So let us, by the grace of Jesus, be humbly, do our jobs, change the diapers, abide one another, do bread stuff so that life can go on, right?
Bread stuff, yeah.
Jesus lets us be that.
Yeah.
But then also let us be wine. And sometimes we get to kind of go above and beyond. Sometimes we get to just sort of give ourselves to people in a wanton sort of a way,
right.
in a carelessly, love them carelessly, leave work, and go spend some time with your wife that she doesn't see coming, and that, you got to do both of these things.
Yeah.
And Jesus enables us to do both these things.